Makusi, Simbris Conscious.
विगत यो कति 5-6 वर्ष त्यति भएको छैन होला 4-5 वर्ष अगाडि चाहिँ यो भीषण वर्षाको कारणले यो गोवा खोलाबाट भीषण बाढी आयो यहाँका बत्ती चाहिँ पावर विच्छेद बनायो अहिलेसम्म अन्धकारको रूपमा बसिरहेको छौँ सोलर तथा जेनेरेटरको प्रयोगबाट हामी गुजारा चलिरहेका छौँ यो दुध खोलाले पनि त्यो भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ धेरै क्षति पुर्याएको थियो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि धेरै विच्छेद बनायो त्यसकारण यो दुध खोलाले पनि अलि बेला बेलामा दुःख दिइरहेको छ तर चाहिँ अहिले धेरै फराकिलो बनाइसकेको छ त्यति अब भावीको दिनमा त्यति नहोला भन्ने हामी आशा राख्दछौँ
We plan the predictable every time we head out of Kathmandu, but the trips to the Himalayas are never easy.
Samagaun गाउँपालिका 1 हो बच्चा देखिए रे
बिहा भएको नि यता मैता त यता हो बाटो पानी माथि बेसार भन्दा माथि
ए तपाईँ घर माइत चाहिँ लमजुङ माइत लमजुङ
यो बेसारदेखि त आधा घन्टा पनि लाग्दैन अरू माइत जानु
हिँड्दै माथि
हिँडेर गयो भने केटाहरूले त 1 घन्टामै पुग्छ गाडीमा गयो भने 1 घन्टा लाग्छ
के भयो पैसा मागेकै हो के भन्छ
We were heading to Dharapani. It had just been an hour or so since we left Besisahar. I fell asleep in the jeep. As my eyes opened, the jeep was empty and it was 100 degrees inside and our jeep wasn't moving. It had not even been half a day and we had already run into a problem. Classic. The rear differential of the jeep had stopped working and we were in the middle of nowhere. Nothing was working. All we could do was wait and see. Our driver made some calls to the nearest help, but still, nothing was happening. After an hour or so, few fellow drivers heading to Dharapani came to our rescue. They were willing to take extra passengers on the jeep. This would reduce the load of our damaged jeep. We planned to do this until we reached the nearest garage, which was 3 to 4 hours away. This meant we had to hop onto the back of the jeep, and all 4 of us were separated. After jumping onto the jeep, it was scary at first, then it got uncomfortable, and later, it was just funny how we had found ourselves in this condition again.
My bag is having a better time.
We were also told it was illegal to travel standing or in the back of the jeep. So we had to walk off to multiple places where there were police inspections. Out of all the places, I fondly remember this waterfall. One of our friends was in another jeep. Until we waited for him, we took a few pictures before having a quick lunch. We needed this waterfall, considering the rough time we were having. After a while, our friend was here too. After lunch, we headed out and we were finally at the garage. The garage was tucked in between the hills. We were excited that the Jeep was finally getting repaired. The drivers shared quick banters between themselves, and we were right there with them, enjoying the moment. The drivers shared quick banters between themselves, and we were right there with them, enjoying the moment. Finally, the Jeep was repaired, but not completely. The mechanic warned us that there is still a chance that the Jeep might break again, but it should be fine until you get to Dharapani. With that note, we left Dharapani. We were finally in our comfort zone. Throughout the way, the locals explained about the rivers and the floods that destroyed bridges and electric poles every year. We were having a great time interacting with locals, but every time we saw a steep road, the driver stopped the Jeep, readjusted his gears, and all of us nervously hoped we'd get through the uphill road. The clanking sound of the Jeep kept us nervous throughout, but the Jeep was fine until this last uphill off-road. If the Jeep successfully crosses this uphill, we'll be at Dharapani. We were all nervous. The Jeep could break at any point, and that might be right now. The driver stopped the Jeep. He revved the engine. He calculated everything. We all took a long breath, and off he went. A sigh of relief, a day to remember. We are finally at Dharapani. We picked a random hotel and settled for the night. It was a slow morning. We were all very tired after yesterday's unforeseen incidents, and thus we overslept. While the breakfast was being prepared, we looked around and did a bunch of nothing. Good morning, everyone. So we're at Dharapani right now. We got at around 7:30 last night. It usually does not take that long to be here, but our jeep broke down and we had a lot of troubles. But we're fine now. We got really good sleeps. It's not really crowded because it's off season and we've got really good rooms. Now our plan is to get to Bhimthang today, so it's probably about 8 to 9 hours of walk. We really don't know. We asked the locals and they said we'll need to walk all day and we're prepared for it. And the thing is, it's really beautiful right here. Everything here is very massive, you know, the hills, the rivers and everything. It's pre-monsoon, so I hope you can hear the sound of the river. It's getting bigger and we want to capture some you know, the wild movements of the river, so we'll get at it now. So after having some breakfast, we definitely want to get to Bhimthang. I think we'll be having lunch at Tilche, we're not sure, so we'll see as the thing progresses. So yeah, we'll keep you updated. We were off to Bhimthang. The trail was beautiful. You could feel the essence of the Himalayas. We could see electric poles damaged by the monsoon floods and landslide as mentioned by the locals. When you see the force of nature up front, it's more scary than anything else. It was pre-monsoon and the rivers looked scary already. You could stare at it for a while and hallucinate. I could feel the chills going down my spine every time I videographed a wild running stream. We were too close and the water was too turbulent. All I could think was, I wouldn't want to be in that water. As we started gaining altitude, we started seeing a sneak peek of Manaslu. Heavy machinery and the road construction were evident throughout the trail. One of our friends found a beautiful rock and decided to keep it. He now identifies as an otter. As we were heading from Tilche to Gowa, we came across small settlements. We enjoy watching and capturing the local lifestyles of Nepal. It's unique. It's us. We came across a massive barley field before arriving at Gowa. The calmness I felt at this place, emotions cannot describe. The warm breeze, the dancing barley fields, and the peaceful ambience. We admired it in our own ways.
हाम्रो फोटोग्राफर फोटो खिच्दैछन्, एङ्गल मिलाउँदैछन्. यो चाहिँ अब मनस्लुको मनस्लु जाने बाटो. अब हामी गोवा जाँदैछौँ.
We were finally at Gowa. The ambience of the hotel was jaw-dropping. It felt like we had just entered some magical realm of Harry Potter. It was much needed lunch break.
त्यो त झन् वाइट छ. त्यो रियल देखिरहेको छैन, यो त ह्यारी पोटरको लाइब्रेरी जस्तो देखिरहेको छ. कस्तो राम्रो देखिरहेको. हामी पोकर जानु लाग्यो. नि भात अलिकति निकालिदिनु.
After lunch, we marched to Bhimthang. We were told Bhimthang is unachievable today. It's too far, and the probability of rain is high. The locals suggested us to rest at Yak Kharka. We started trekking with an open mind.
हस् धन्यवाद हाई छैन राम्रै हुनुहुन्छ कस्तो हस् अगाडि गएको हामी हस् बाइ बाइ
She reminded me of my grandmother.
यस्तो खिचिरहेको थियो राम्ररी हान्दैन क्या यस्तो मलाई खिचिरहेको थियो
के देखिरहेछस् मैले त स्क्रिनमा केही देखिरहेको छैन तैँले के देखिरहेछस्
मैले मिलाइसकेँ सबै आएछ गरेर
The forests of Manaslu region are just as enchanting as the scenic Himalayas. A sanctuary for peace. Just as the locals predicted, the weather started acting up. We thought the weather started to take a turn for the worse.
गाइस पानी पर्यो त सिमसिम सिमसिमे पानीमा दामी हो
Eventually, it started raining. We were unsure if we wanted to trek to Bhimthang or stay at Yak Kharka. The rain decided for us. Luckily, it did not rain heavily. Instead, the forest came alive as the rain sprinkled. We were enjoying every bit of it. Trekking past the thick forest, immersed, and open plain land. This is Yak Kharka. There are only 2 tea houses here. The trek to Yak Kharka is not that difficult. There are no significant uphill walks.
यो भ्यू चाहिँ यहाँ देखिन्छ रे भोलि आज पानी पर्यो
We were in the middle of an enchanting forest. We were in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and all we could come up with was to play Uno. It did not feel right. So we decided to go out of the tea house. It was one of the best decisions we could have made. We couldn't capture any Himalayas today, but we were hopeful that we could capture some in the morning. It was a new morning, a new feeling. We could finally see Manaslu range, and we wasted no time.
मैले त्यो घोडा त लडीबुडी गर्दैछ यार मैले त घोडा बसेको फर्स्ट टाइम देखेँ होला त्यसरी
Why do you travel? To get away from reality, for the peace of mind, have new experiences, meet new people. But most importantly, does it matter? We are here, unbothered, at peace. खिच्दै 37% मा गयो. We had our breakfast before heading out of the tea house. We waved goodbye to Yak Kharka and Lenny. We then headed straight into a deep forest to Bhimthang. On the way, we came across another river. The sound of the water flow was deafening. We could only imagine what it must look like during the monsoon. This part of the trail felt like a therapy session. The deeper we got into the forest, the calmer we felt. It was easy on the eyes and the mind. I did not want this part of the trek to end. The further we walked, it kept getting better and better. Every other step took us closer to the Manaslu range. We couldn't see much of it until we did. It was massive. This big pile of shining ice shimmers as the sunlight hits the surface. I kept telling myself again and again, this is too beautiful and we are so lucky to be here. As soon as the forest trail ended, a vast land of nothing appeared. It was rugged, windy, and empty. It finally felt like we were in the heart of the Himalayas. It got a bit windy after this point. The weather was perfect. There were no uphill walks from here either. It was a comfortable trail. We finally saw the settlement of Bhimthang. It looked like a mystical secret village tucked in between the Himalayas.
Nice ठाउँ रहेछ यार है ल प्रणेश यहाँ फुटबल खेल्न त इन्सेन मजा अनि रेकर्ड हटाउने होला नि त
Sometimes.
ए sorry guys.
We also saw the trail to Ponker. It looked like the body of a serpent. We planned to head to Ponker today, and after seeing the trekking trail from a distance, we knew what to expect. As soon as we entered Bhimthang, it felt different. It was vibrant. There was an unspoken peace to this place. We just absorbed quietly. Everything was just happening. It was time to get rooms for ourselves. The trail was empty. There were no other travelers. it was just us. The locals were humble enough to provide us with accommodation for good prices. There was no electricity here. One of the tea house had a solar powered source.
हामी चाहिँ त्यो त्यसमा बस्न प्लान गरेको थियौं तर त्यहाँ चाहिँ अब चार्ज नै नहुने रे अनि केटाहरुको पावर ब्याङ्क अथवा क्यामेरा चार्ज भएन भने कामै हुँदैन मलाई उ परपरै हेर्दाखेरि लागिरहेको थियो हामी यहीँ बस्छौं भनेर हेर्दा राम्रो नि छ हैन अनि के हो म चाहिँ
After we booked the room for ourselves, we wasted no time and headed out to Ponker. But as we moved out, we started having second thoughts. The weather did not look appealing at all. This quick change of weather is always expected in the mountains. Moving ahead just did not feel right. The weather progressively worsened, so we decided to return to our hotel.
यो चाहिँ भीमथाङ है अनि हामी यहाँबाट चढिरहेको थियौँ तर वेदर चाहिँ एकदम बिग्रिन थाल्यो त्यो भएर हामी तल चढ्दैछौँ अब केटाहरू अगाडि अगाडि पछाडि त्यस्तो छ अब भोलि बिहान जान्छ भ्यू चाहिँ यो त्यो बादल चाहिँ It is completely covered up. See you guys.
We made the right decision. There were no mountain sceneries, but the environment that the dark clouds had created felt like a movie. When was the last time you did nothing? When was the last time you thought of nothing? There's freedom in being carefree, but not everyone has the luxury to afford it.
भलिबल नै रहेछ हेर ल फुटबल खेल्नु हुन्थ्यो बल भएर बल है त भलिबलले फुटबल खेल्नु हुन्थ्यो यो ग्राउन्डमा है हैन हुन्छ कसम भने यस्तो भने मास्टर कस्तो सम्म ठाउँ कि है 1 2 3 अहिले भएन म त उठ्दै यस्तो कुदे कि त्यो बाँकी नै गर्नु त्यो घोडा साइकको भयो अरे
So good morning again. We're here at Bhimthang and it's a beautiful morning. We will be heading to Ponker after our breakfast. We decided to head to Ponker yesterday, but the weather was not so good. Rained very heavily yesterday, so we decided to rather rest and go to Ponker in the morning. And yeah, so we're preparing for that. And the morning is beautiful at this side, but the other side is not so not so compelling. So I think after a few videos and photos we'll be going there.
It's my first time here in the Manaslu area. I think I love this trek. There are flowers here, the greenery, the mountains. Everything is just so majestic. So yeah, I'm loving this trek and I'm hoping to get some really good shots out of it.
And for the second time in 24 hours, we left Bhimthang for Ponker. Just as we started gaining altitude, we could feel the wind getting stronger. The more we climbed, we could see a massive bed of Ponker Glacier. We We also noticed one of our friends feeling the effects of the altitude sickness. He started throat singing out of nowhere at 4,000 meters. We were climbing, just another trail, just another hill to overcome. And then we all stopped. We had to stop. All of us walked up to this point and decided that this needed to be photographed. It was a massive chain of glaciers, as tall as apartment buildings. At first glance, it looked like regular rocks doing their thing, looking sketchy and just existing. Then, the longer we observed it, we could see that the rocks were made up of thick, shiny layers of ice. It was one of the most beautiful hues of blue I had ever seen.
अब हामी पोङ्कर पुग्न almost 15 to 20 minutes पर छौं. बादल खुल्दैछ. उयो देखिरहनु भएको चाहिँ यसको मुनि चाहिँ ग्लेसियर हुन्छ है. चेङ्गिस खाँ भन्ने सुनेछ. अब पोङ्कर पुग्न त्यस्तै 5-10 मिनट होला. केटाहरूले देखे जस्तो छ. ओ पोङ्कर देख्यो है. Ponker. Yes, finally.
As we approached Ponker, the weather started looking stormy. But we did not care, at least for now. This was it. Just you, nature, and good company. There is this feeling of gentle seclusion I crave once in a while, and I always want more. This feeling is part of a missing puzzle, and I hope I never find it, so that I can always seek this feeling in nature. It started raining. It was a sign for us to head down to Bhimthang. We left Bhimthang the same day.
टाइम
यस आफूलाई आफूलाई देखायो नि पहिले चाहिँ
In this sacred space, nature breathes. A symphony of growth and renewal. The mountains cradle the forest, and the spirit of the monsoon flows, earth and sky, in an endless embrace. We stopped at Gowa, drawn in by a lovely forest. The air was filled with the fresh scent of wet earth and flowers. With snacks in hand, we found a cozy spot surrounded by gentle sound of leaves rustling and birds calling. We struggled with transportation again. No one was willing to take us to Besisahar even though the jeeps were empty. The options were either to pay an unreasonable amount of money to book a jeep or hitchhike on an already arriving transportation. The answer was obvious.
यो चाहे त्यो विदेशी होस् चाहे स्वदेशी होस् छोटो टाइम हुनेहरूलाई धेरै टाइम नहुने विभिन्न कार्यव्यस्तताका कारणले टाइम नहुने पर्यटकहरूलाई स्वदेशी र विदेशी पर्यटकहरूलाई यो छोटो टाइममा यहाँ घुम्न आउने घुमेर आफ्नो मनोरञ्जन गर्ने ठाउँहरू प्रशस्त छन्। लमजुङ बेसरबाट धारपानी तिल्चीसम्म गाडीको व्यवस्था छ, गाडी आउँछ। त्यहाँबाट यहाँबाट गोवा सुती खोला त्यस्तै कार्ची सुती खोला याक खर्का भीमथाङ हुँदै यो घुम्ने ठाउँ प्रशस्त छन्। यो भीमथाङ चाहिँ एकदम ऐतिहासिक ठाउँ पनि हो। यो पहिला बहादुर शाहको पालामा तिब्बतसँग नुन व्यापारी सन्धि हुँदाखेरि तिब्बतबाट नुन ल्याउने र लमजुङका त्यस्तै तनहुँ तल्लो भेगका के अरे नुनहरू त्यतिखेर त इन्डियाबाट नुन आउने थिएन। नुन आउने भनेको यही भोटखोला भन्छ यसलाई, यसबाट आउँथ्यो र यहाँ तलका चामल भयो त्यस्तै सामानहरू ल्याएर नुनसँग साट्ने ठाउँ हो यो। त्यसकारण ऐतिहासिक ठाउँ र व्यापारी केन्द्रको रूपमा हामी भीमथाङले चिनिन्छौँ। त्यसकारण पहिला कोठीको भीमथाङ कोठी पनि भनेर चिनिन्छ। अहिले चाहिँ बिस्तारै त्यसलाई चाहिँ व्यावसायिक रूपमा अब त्यो तिब्बतबाट नुन आउने काम त रोकियो, त्यो काम रोकिसक्यो। त्यसकारण बिस्तारै पहिला चाहिँ क्याम्पिङको रूपमा ट्रेकिङहरू क्याम्पिङको रूपमा आउँथ्यो। तर अझै बिस्तारै 5-6-7 वर्ष पछाडि चाहिँ यहाँ ट्रेकिङ रूपमा टी हाउसको रूपमा धेरै पर्यटकहरू आइसकेका छन्। वर्षेनी यहाँ त्यस्तै 5-6-7 हजारको रूपमा एक सिजनमा त्यस्तो रूपमा चाहिँ पर्यटनहरू आइरहेको छ। यो पर्यटनबाट यहाँका धेरै जनसमुदायलाई आय स्रोतको रूपमा लिन सकिन्छ। धेरै फाइदा पुर्याएको छ। बेरोजगारीको समस्या धेरै हदसम्म चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ समाधान गरेको छ। यसले पर्यटन व्यवसायले मात्र होइन, संयुक्त रूपमा हेर्दाखेरि सिंहको सारांश हेर्दाखेरि यो सिंहको राष्ट्रलाई नै अर्थतन्त्रमा यसले चाहिँ टेवा पुर्याइरहेको छ। ट्रेकिङ व्यवसायलाई, त्यस्तै ट्रेकिङ एजेन्सीलाई नेपाल सरकारले ट्याक्स तिर्छन्, त्यस्तै व्यवसायलाई ट्याक्स तिर्छन्, त्यस्तै पर्यटनहरूलाई के अरे पोर्टरहरूलाई, त्यस्तै पसलेहरूलाई विभिन्न किसिमको प्रत्यक्ष र अप्रत्यक्ष रूपमा यसले चाहिँ नेपाल सरकारलाई चाहिँ एउटा फाइदा पुर्याइरहेको छ। त्यसकारण यो कुरालाई, पर्यटन सम्बन्धी कुरालाई विशेष गरेर सम्बन्धित निकायहरूमा चाहे जनस्तरदेखिका नेता अथवा जनसमुदायहरू, राष्ट्र सिंहको राष्ट्रले नै यस सम्बन्धी गुरु योजनाहरू बनाएर त्यो सम्बन्धी विचार पुर्याउनु अत्यन्त आवश्यक देखिन्छ। किनभने यो अहिले विभिन्न ठाउँमा बाटो पुर्याउने भन्ने त्यस नामले डोजर खन्ने, प्रकृतिलाई चाहिँ खलबलाउने, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि विभिन्न किसिमको बाढी पहिरोहरू आउने कारण त्यो पनि हुनसक्छ जस्तो लाग्छ। त्यसकारण कुन ठाउँलाई पर्यटनको क्षेत्रमा राख्ने, कुन ठाउँलाई कृषि क्षेत्रमा राख्ने, कुन ठाउँलाई एकदम सम्भावित कुराहरू हुन्छ नि त्यस्तोलाई राखेर रिजर्भको रूपमा राखेर नेपाल सरकारलाई एउटा आम्दानीको स्रोत बनाउने, चिनाउने कि त्यस्तो कुराहरू चाहिँ एकदम सोच्नुपर्ने आवश्यकता देखिन्छ। यो सबै तहबाट सोच विचार गरेर भावी कार्यहरू गर्दाखेरि राम्रो देखिन्छ भन्ने मलाई लाग्छ। हस्त, धन्यवाद।